Hey friends, hey, it's your girl Kitty. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you are a ride or die part of KKC, welcome back. Today guys, we are having honey garlic sausage, carrots and peas, and Uncle Ben's Chinese fried rice, I think. Yeah, that's the Chinese fried rice one. She's chewing cardboard. Little brat. Anyways, so yes, this is what's on the menu for dinner. And let's dig in and have a story time. I was supposed to talk about my epilepsy in the last video, and I forgot that I was supposed to talk about it. And I was going to show you guys I have like a little turtle collection. I found one of my turtle things, but where I don't know where I would have put those. Ugh. I moved them. Now I'm gonna have to go on a mad hunt for them because I want to know where they're at. Anyways, so I have a few little turtle items that I've collected over the years. I got this at a store downtown that is called Cultures. I can't remember where the tag said this was from, but I know I need to wash it because it's got something sticky on it. But I got this at a store downtown called Cultures. I actually want to go back. I don't know if you guys can see him. It's a turtle on a necklace. And the store is called Cultures. I'll actually go downtown in the summer and show you guys this store. It is amazing. They have like trinkets and stuff from all over the world. Hence the reason why it's called Cultures. So yeah. So this is from that store because I just love turtles. And I have other turtles and I'm like, I'm sad. I don't know where they are. But anyways, so I will hunt those up within the next couple of days, hopefully. And I will show them to you. So let's dig in and have a story time about my epilepsy. Oh, first, before we get into that, I need to vent a little bit. Let's have a couple bites of this food, though. Is it not going to focus? Anyways. I don't find these taste anything like Chinese fried rice. But it's food. I have some fruit punch. So I went to the nail salon this morning to get my nails redone because I had an air bubble on my left thumb and a big chunk of the nail polish came off. and almost all of my nails were different shapes, different sizes. Like, I didn't really notice the shape and the thickness until later, like when I was actually like really looking at my hands. I'm like, why do they look off? And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm looking at them and I'm like, these two don't even, like, my index fingers were two different shapes. Both my middle fingers were different shapes. I'm like, what is going on? And then I'm like looking at them and how thick they were. So I messaged them because I was like not sure what I should do. So my mom's like, for sure you should tell them, like, and my dad said the same thing, like, you're a paying customer and, you know, you're not satisfied. You know, it doesn't matter how, you know, it's not like you waited a week and then decided to say something. Like, you told them, like, you know, the next day. And I'm like, yeah, I spoke, or like, well, yeah, I did tell them the next day because I technically texted them on Sunday and they responded back. I knew they wouldn't respond to me on Sunday. I knew that they would respond back on Monday morning when they're open during their hours, right? So they're like, yeah, come in. Can you come in tomorrow at 11:45? She'll fix them for you. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So my dad came and got me and took me to the salon. And so I go in. I'm 10 minutes early. I go in. I sit down. Well, no, I go in. They're like, then the owner's talking to the girl that did my nails and explaining that I was there for her to fix them. And she's like, Brenda? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, what's wrong with your nails? And I'm like, she's like, here, come, you know, sit down. And I'm explaining to her. And she's like, you don't like them anymore? And I'm like, it's not that I don't like them. I love the color. I said, I'm just not impressed with how thick they are. And they're all different shapes. So I'm trying to show her what I'm talking about. And there's a bit of a language barrier because all three of these people that work in this salon, well, there's 4 of them, but one woman does like manicures and pedicures. So she's in like a back room with a client. And there's the owner doing nails for someone, the other girl doing nails for someone, and then the girl that did mine. And those 3 doing the acrylic nails are all Vietnamese. There's like a language like barrier. There's like a little bit of miscommunication. She's having a hard time understanding. Oreo, stop. She's having a hard time understanding me and vice versa. And she's like, no, you told me you wanted bulky. And I'm like, no, I did not say I wanted bulky. Oreo, stop. Sorry, guys. She's like, you told me you wanted bulky. And she's getting kind of like snappy at me. And I'm just like, oh man, like, okay, I'm like, holding my composure. I'm trying to stay like polite and calm. But this lady was really ticking me off. I'm like, I did not tell you I wanted bulky nails. I said, I did tell you I wanted boxy nails, which I mean square. And I hated like trying to like talk slower and trying to use other words like maybe she would understand me more. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. And everyone's looking at me. I felt like such a bitch. And I'm like, and then the owner like jumps in and he's like, there's nothing wrong with your nails. And he's like, we fixed this nail. He said, there's nothing wrong with your nail. And I'm like, oh my God. Okay. Like, seriously, I'm about to lose my shit. I just paid $50 and, you know, I've been going there for a while and I've honestly never once had a problem. until this other girl started doing my nails, and I'm like, no offense, honey, like, I think you're sweet, you got a nice personality, you're friendly, good customer service, but you suck at nails. And I was getting so irritated, I wanted to say these things, but I'm just like, I'm a polite person, I don't want to be rude and mean to somebody. So I just remained calm as I could, kept my composure, and when I was getting, like, heated, like, I wanted to cry, because I already told you guys when I get angry, I want to cry. So then she's like, so what do you want me to do? And I'm like, redo my nails. Take this off and put new nail polish. And, like, file them down a little bit more because they're too thick. And then she was trying to say that my nails, it's the shape of my nail that's making it look thick. And I'm like, no. I said, there's too much acrylic on there. I said, you put too much acrylic. So anyways, she redid them. I'm impressed with the shape. I'm impressed with, she filed them down not as much as I would have liked, but it's a vast improvement from what they looked like. And she didn't do that great of a job with the nail polish. Like, from a distance, they look okay. But I notice, like, I notice things. And I don't want to be, I'm not a nitpicky person, but I'm just like, if I'm going to pay $50 to get my nails done, I should love them when I leave. And I did until I got home. And I'm like, you know, I'm like looking at my nails and I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like looking at them and I'm like, what? Why do they look weird? And then I like looked at them from like this angle, like looking at my nails and like how thick they were, like this part, like how thick they are. I'm like, oh my God. But I don't like being that person. I'm never, I don't know. It was just a shitty experience, and the owner's like, next time you book, we won't book you with so-and-so. We'll book you with so-and-so. And I'm thinking, that's who I thought I was getting booked with to begin with. Because anytime I've ever gone, there's 3 people working. The white lady in the back doing manicure pedicures. And she like answers the phone and stuff sometimes. And the owner and the girl that does my nails. And then the other girl that did my nails is from another nail salon that I used to go to. And anytime I had her, it sucks because like she's not that good at them. And so whenever I was booking an appointment, I expected to go in to the girl I'm used to, because I assumed there was only 2 of them that did acrylics, which was why I just assumed that's why they were so booked all the time. And it's like hard to get in because there was just 2 of them. And I mean, it is a little failure on my part, but I shouldn't have assumed that it would just be the 2 regulars that I'm used to. I don't know, part of me, like, he's like, next time, you know, we not book you with so-and-so, we book you with so-and-so. And I'm like thinking, that's who I thought you were going to book me with to begin with. I didn't know this other girl was here. I said good because I'm like good because I'm like, this is ridiculous, you know, and I'm like, because it's either that or I'm going to take my business elsewhere. And he's like, well, you're free to do that if that's what you want to do. And I'm like, I don't want to do that, but I'm just saying, like, don't. I felt like they were like ganging up on me, the owner and the girl that did my nails. And I didn't really see any need to defend her. I didn't come in there like, you know, shit hit the fan. Like, I came in calm, you know, good morning. I was like, good morning. Ask them how are you guys today so far, blah, blah, blah. You know, polite. Ugh. So anyways, that's the shit show with my nails. I honestly don't know if I'll go back there. Part of me wants to find somewhere new to go. Okay, so my first I got water here too. My first epileptic seizure. I was 9 years old. Oh. I was 9 years old, and we lived in the same house my parents are in now, but it was only one story. Literally, this house was tiny. It was a kitchen, a bathroom, a living room, and one bedroom. I know, right? There's my mom, my dad, and me and my 2 sisters. For years and years and years, my parents slept on a pull-out bed. What they call a hide-a-bed. You know, like a sofa bed. My parents slept on a hide-a-bed for years. And me and my sisters shared a bedroom. Me and Carrie, my older sister, had our own beds. And my younger sister, Jessica, well, she was really little, so... Would she have been in a toddler bed? Yeah, she would have had her own little bed too. Because she would have been 4 or 5, around there. Depending on the month, like what the month was. So she was either 4 or 5. So, my parents had put us to bed. We were sleeping. Mom and Dad were watching TV. Were they watching TV or were they asleep? That part I don't know. I don't know if they were woke, like the noise woke them up. That's a good question. I'm going to have to ask. So, I'm going to say they were sleeping. And they heard a noise coming from the bedroom. I want to say that my mom heard the noise because she's a very light sleeper. And my mom woke my dad to go and see what was going on. Or maybe they were awake. I'm not sure, guys. I'll find out that part. I'm sorry. This is a shit show story already. So my dad comes in the room and turns on the light because he can't see. It's so dark. Turns on the light, and I was blue. I was blue. And my eyes were rolled back in my head. My face was blue as could be. I was in a full-blown seizure. And so I'm seizing, and my dad's like kind of like has an idea of what is going on, but he wasn't fully sure if this was like an epileptic seizure. But, you know, my dad is ex-military. He's had, you know, he's what I call the jack of all trades. He knows a lot about a lot for very little education. He's a very smart man, and he just kind of took what he, like, instinctual what to do. And so he did move me on my side in case there was any like vomiting or anything. I wouldn't be like choking on my vomit. So he like turns me to the side, and I stopped seizing, but then I wasn't breathing. I don't remember any of this. And my dad did CPR and mouth to mouth on me. And if he hadn't have did what he did, I probably would have died. My dad saved my life. If he hadn't have acted when he did, I probably wouldn't have made it. My mom called 911. The ambulance was on their way, but there was a fire station just at the end of my parents' street. There was a fire station. So the firemen paramedics were the first ones to get there. And my dad like was able to get me breathing. I was still like he, you know, got me breathing. I was like kind of in and out of consciousness. Like I wasn't fully alert. And so my dad, you know, moved out of the way for them to do their job. And the ambulance got there and they rushed me to the hospital. And that's when they started running tests, and voila, your daughter is epileptic. And it came to a surprise to my mom, but it didn't at the same time, because epilepsy can be genetic. It can be passed down in your family. And I know some people say no, it can't. I have cousins that are epileptic, and their kids were epileptic, and so on. Like my cousin, she's epileptic, and both of her kids were. And I'm not sure anyone else in my family. But So they did testing and they did like EEGs and stuff, both when I'm awake, checking the brain activity, and when I'm asleep, checking the brain activity. And even to this day, the brain activity, like when they do EEGs on me now, my brain is like they do a sleep deprivation. I gotta go so long without sleep, and I have to go in the room. They mark my head all over, like in this certain spots, that these little buttons gotta go all over my head, and it's like this gritty sand stuff they put on my head so the little buttons will stay, and I have to fall asleep on the little bed for them to run these tests. And they'll do like the flashing light, like there's like a, they'll tell me like open your eyes, close your eyes, and there's like blinky lights, and that was probably the biggest seizure I had. I gotta chill. So then the second one I had, I was 9, just before my 10th birthday. At this point, I was on medication. I can't remember the name. I want to say Dilantin, but that was the second prescription. They tried the new stuff. But the stuff before, I can't remember. I can't remember the very first medicine I was on, but I know the second stuff they tried was Dilantin. Anyways. So, little 9, almost 10-year-old Brenda going away to summer camp for a whole week in Parry Sound, Ontario. So I had to board a plane, well, say goodbye to my mom and dad and my sisters, and board a plane and fly to Ontario. I went to Tim Hortons Foundation Camp, and I was beyond excited. I had never been to Ontario. This is going to be a long video, guys. Bear with me. So I get to camp. The place is freaking amazing. Don't just spit. Don't talk with your mouth full. The place was freaking amazing. This great big, like, log looking fancy schmancy, looked like a big mansion, really. And they had canoeing, kayaking, archery, pontoon playing. They had tubing, jet ski, water skis, campfires. We had different missions we had to do and get little round badges. Excuse me. Archery was my favorite. I was really good at archery. I'm actually kind of curious if I'm any good at it still. Because I know, like, being, you know, almost 10 years old, I was pretty damn good. I was pretty good. And we were about, I think, 2, maybe 3 days into summer camp. And I had a seizure. And they were going to send me home. They were going to fly me home. And because I think what happened was we were going to bed. I had a seizure. And I wet myself. And I was on the top bunk. And of course, put 2 and 2 together. Top bunk, kid wets themselves. Person below you, yeah, you know. So she went and told our counselor for our group. And they came in the room. And so I must have seized, wet myself, and then started seizing again. So I basically had 2 seizures back to back. And this, they weren't aware that they weren't really aware of the first seizure, but the girl below me had said that she had heard noises before the pee. Like, so, my whole group, everyone was like awake, the lights are on, and they're all like super concerned and talking to me, and the counselors are telling them, like, you know, trying to get the other kids to, like, stay back, give her some room. But they were going to send me home. And I was devastated. I cried and begged them. Literally, I remember this to this day. Dropping to my knees, begging them. Please don't send me home. I'm crying. I'm like... So, they contacted my parents. My parents talked to me. My parents were scared shitless, me being all the way in Ontario. They contacted my doctor. And I'm not sure what happened after that. I know I didn't go home. They let me stay. But yeah, and I had a couple of seizures after that. They said, you know, that I would grow out of it. Like, I would outgrow the seizures. I remained on Dilantin up until I still had a prescription I had just filled when I found out I was pregnant the first time. And... yeah, well, those are some more stories. My pregnancies, and so we'll get into those in another video. I'm not sure when, but if you've made it this far, I know it's a long video. If you made it this far, I am, like, so grateful and thankful that you take the time to watch my videos. And I love you guys so much. Thank you for having dinner with me. I hope you guys had a wonderful dinner, and if you didn't get to eat today, you are in my prayers that your circumstances change, and yeah. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Deuces.